Imagine leading millions through the toughest challenges life can throw at you. What kind of wisdom would you need to succeed? Dwight D. Eisenhower, a legendary leader and U.S. president, faced incredible obstacles with courage, clarity, and determination. His words offer profound lessons on leadership, resilience, and success. In this video, we'll uncover Eisenhower's most powerful quotes that can transform the way you think, work, and lead. Get ready to be inspired by timeless wisdom that can guide you through your own challenges. Let's dive in and learn from one of history's greatest minds. We the people elect leaders not to rule but to serve. Never let yourself be persuaded that any one great man, any one leader, is necessary to the salvation of America. When America consists of one leader and 158 million followers, it will no longer be America. If a political party does not have its foundation in the determination to advance a cause that is right and that is moral, then it is not a political party. It is merely a conspiracy to seize power. Leadership consists of nothing but taking responsibility for everything that goes wrong and giving your subordinates credit for everything that goes well. For every obstacle, there is a solution. Persistence is the key. The greatest mistake is giving up. Every gun that is made, every warship launched, every rocket fired signifies, in the final sense, a theft from those who hunger and are not fed, those who are cold and are not clothed. This world in arms is not spending money alone. It is spending the sweat of its laborers, the genius of its scientists, the hopes of its children. This is not a way of life at all in any true sense. Under the clouds of war, it is humanity hanging on a cross of iron. No one should ever sit in this office over 70 years old, and that I know. The supreme quality of leadership is integrity. In the councils of government, we must guard against the acquisition of unwarranted influence, whether sought or unsought, by the military-industrial complex. The potential for the disastrous rise of misplaced power exists and will persist. We must never let the weight of this combination endanger our liberties or democratic processes. We should take nothing for granted. Only an alert and knowledgeable citizenry can compel the proper meshing of the huge industrial and military machinery of defense with our peaceful methods and goals, so that security and liberty may prosper together. A people that values its privileges above its principles soon loses both. The only way to win World War III is to prevent it. If you want total security, go to prison. There you're fed, clothed, given medical care, and so on. The only thing lacking is freedom. The middle of the road is all of the usable surface. The extremes, right and left, are in the gutters. Someday there is going to be a man sitting in my present chair who has not been raised in the military services and who will have little understanding of where slashes in their estimates can be made with little or no damage. If that should happen, while we still have the state of tension that now exists in the world, I shudder to think of what could happen in this country. The qualities of a great man are vision, integrity, courage, understanding, the power of articulation, and profundity of character. Plans are nothing. Planning is everything. Inflation is not a Robin Hood, taking from the rich to give to the poor. Rather, it deals most cruelly with those who can least protect themselves. It strikes hardest those millions of our citizens whose incomes do not quickly rise with the cost of living. When prices soar, the pensioner and the widow see their security undermined. The man of thrift sees his savings melt away. The white-collar worker, the minister, and the teacher see their standards of living dragged down. Change based on principle is progress. Constant change without principle becomes chaos. I hate war as only a soldier who has lived it can, only as one who has seen its brutality, its futility, its stupidity. Beware the military-industrial complex. Some politician some years ago said that bad officials are elected by good voters who do not vote. This is what I found out about religion. It gives you courage to make the decisions you must make in a crisis, and then the confidence to leave the result to a higher power. Only by trust in God can a man carrying responsibility find repose. Without God, there could be no American form of government, nor an American way of life. Recognition of the Supreme Being is the first, the most basic expression of Americanism. Thus, the Founding Fathers of America saw it, and thus with God's help, it will continue to be. Never waste a minute thinking about people you don't like. Take your job seriously, but not yourself. What counts is not necessarily the size of the dog in the fight, it's the size of the fight in the dog. This world of ours must avoid becoming a community of dreadful fear and hate, and be instead a proud confederation of mutual trust and respect. The search for a scapegoat is the easiest of all hunting expeditions. Should any political party attempt to abolish Social Security, unemployment insurance, and eliminate labor laws and farm programs, you would not hear of that party again in our political history. There is a tiny splinter group, of course, that believes you can do these things. Among them are a few other Texas oil millionaires and an occasional politician or businessman from other areas. Their number is negligible, and they are stupid. You don't lead by hitting people over the head. That's assault, not leadership. Any man who wants to be president is either an egomaniac or crazy. Always try to associate yourself with and learn as much as you can from those who know more than you do, who do better than you, who see more clearly than you. And I should like to assure you, my Islamic friends, that under the American Constitution, under American tradition, and in American hearts, this center, this place of worship, is just as welcome as could be a similar edifice of any other religion. Indeed, America would fight with her whole strength for your right to have here your own church and worship according to your own conscience. This concept is indeed a part of America, and without that concept we would be something else than what we are. A good teacher is one who can understand those who are not very good at explaining, and explain to those who are not very good at understanding. The supreme quality for leadership is unquestionably integrity. Without it, no real success is possible, no matter whether it is on a section gang, a football field, in an army, or in an office. History does not long entrust the care of freedom to the weak or the timid. If our founding fathers were alive today, they'd roll over in their graves. Don't join the book burners. Do not think you are going to conceal thoughts by concealing evidence that they ever existed. Anytime we deny any citizen the full exercise of his constitutional rights, we are weakening our own claim to them. If all that Americans want is security, they can go to prison. They'll have enough to eat, a bed and a roof over their heads. But if an American wants to preserve his dignity and his equality as a human being, he must not bow his neck to any dictatorial government. Neither a wise man nor a brave man lies down on the tracks of history to wait for the train of the future to run over him. But we know that freedom cannot be served by the devices of the tyrant. As it is an ancient truth that freedom cannot be legislated into existence, so it is no less obvious that freedom cannot be censored into existence. And any who act as if freedom's defenses are to be found in suppression and suspicion and fear confess a doctrine that is alien to America. Every step we take towards making the state our caretaker of our lives, by that much we move toward making the state our master. Only strength can cooperate. Weakness can only beg. To be true to one's own freedom is, in essence, to honor and respect the freedom of all others. Here in America, we are descended in blood and in spirit from revolutionists and rebels, men and women who dare to dissent from accepted doctrine. As their heirs, may we never confuse honest dissent with disloyal subversion. People talk about the middle of the road as though it were unacceptable. Actually, all human problems accepting morals come into the gray areas. Things are not all black and white. There have to be compromises. The middle of the road is all of the usable surface. The extremes, right and left, are in the gutters. The opportunist thinks of me and today. The statesman thinks of us and tomorrow. Our American heritage is threatened as much by our own indifference as it is by the most unscrupulous office or by the most powerful foreign threat. The future of this republic is in the hands of the American voter. Extremes to the right and to the left of any political dispute are always wrong. May we never confuse honest dissent with disloyal subversion. Our forces saved the remnants of the Jewish people of Europe for a new life and a new hope in the reborn land of Israel. Along with all men of goodwill, I salute the young state and wish it well. Every leader should have enough humility to accept publicly the responsibility for the mistakes of the subordinates he has himself selected, and likewise to give them credit publicly for their triumphs. It is only common sense to recognize that the great bulk of Americans, whether Republican or Democrat, face many common problems and agree on a number of basic objectives. In the service, when a man gives you his word is binding. In politics, you never know. There is a kind of dictatorship that can come about through a creeping paralysis of thought, readiness to accept paternalistic measures by government, and along with those measures comes a surrender of our own responsibilities and therefore a surrender of our own thought over our own lives and our own right to exercise the vote. The free system gives the right to every citizen to do something for himself. Because he has the right, the opportunity is always there. The future of this republic is in the hands of the American voter. If a man's associates find him guilty of being phony, if they find that he lacks forthright integrity, he will fail. His teachings and actions must square with each other. The first great need, therefore, is integrity and high purpose. Accomplishment will prove to be a journey, not a destination. Most things which are urgent are not important, and most things which are important are not urgent. Mob rule cannot be allowed to override the decisions of our courts. We have the disgrace of racial discrimination, or we have prejudice against people because of their religion. We have not had the courage to uproot these things, although we know they are wrong. Every gun that is made, every warship launched, every rocket fired, signifies in the final sense a theft from those who hunger and are not fed, those who are cold and are not clothed. The spirit of man is more important than mere physical strength, and the spiritual fiber of a nation than its wealth. The Bible is endorsed by the ages. Our civilization is built upon its words. In no other book is there such a collection of inspired wisdom, reality, and hope. Politics ought to be the part-time profession of every citizen who would protect the rights and privileges of free people and who would preserve what is good and fruitful in our national heritage. Leadership is the art of getting someone else to do something you want done because he wants to do it. Never lose your temper, except intentionally. To have a free, peaceful, and prosperous world, we must be ever stronger, particularly in the spiritual things. It is American belief in decency and justice and progress and the value of individual liberty because of the rights conferred on each of us by our Creator that will carry us through. There must be something in the heart as well as the head. Only Americans can hurt America. Farming looks mighty easy when your plow is a pencil and you're 1,000 miles from the cornfield. I firmly believe that the army of persons who urge greater and greater centralization of authority and greater dependence upon the federal treasury are really more dangerous to our form of government than any external threat that can possibly be arrayed against us. We will bankrupt ourselves in the vain search for absolute security. Today in America, unions have a secure place in our industrial life. only a handful of reactionaries harbor the ugly thought of breaking unions and depriving working men and women of the right to join the union of their choice. I have no use for those, regardless of their political party, who hold some vain and foolish dream of spinning the clock back to days when organized labor was huddled, almost as a hapless mass. Only a fool would try to deprive working men and women of the right to join the union of their choice. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe for more inspiring content.